to guide us all the way to the day where we'll be asked what we did in our life to make it that way. So we need to be ready and prepared.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Sunnah Style, this show specifically designed to deal with issues that the Muslim youth are facing today, living in the society, in this very fast expanding society, pop culture, music, everything going around. People are looking for identity, to attach themselves to something, to find some kind of guidance in this life. And we find that Muslim youth are being caught up in between all these different ideas and philosophies, finding conflicting, truths and so on, and they're just confused. And they are moving farther and farther from the deen. So we want to reach out to them, to dialogue them, to debate with them, to rationally stimulate them, to show them the reality of this life, to show them that the deen, Islam, is such a better than anything else. There's no any comparison. But it's just that the way they have looked at it, the way that people have presented it to them has not been appealing. So we want the Muslim youth, we urge them to listen. We urge them to spread this message across, to let the people hear, let the Muslim youth understand and hear what we are saying here in these episodes. Today we are talking about a very, very deep topic, which is very close to my heart. Why? Because I'll tell you that I was faced with this. Coming into Islam, the faith is not yet, strong and attached, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test the believers. Allah tells us, that do you believe or do you think that you will be left alone about just saying that I believe and you'll not be tested? Indeed, Allah will test us. Allah will test our faith, our iman. Today, the show is called Finding Yaqeen. And Yaqeen means, in Arabic, certainty. And specifically here, certainty, firm belief in what? In Islam. Okay, in Islam. This firm belief, this yaqeen, is what drives a Muslim, is what gives the Muslim the strength to do his ibadah. It's what gives the Muslim the strength to be the best in this life, to beat everyone in terms of, whatever he's going to race for, whatever he's going to try to get in his life, he'll be the best at this. Because he has this inner strength that drives him, that he's doing it for the sake of Allah. He knows that he's on the truth. He's like, he has a mission that he is moving with and towards, and he has a goal in his life, subhanAllah. It's like he's on a special mission, and he has a special status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that his heart is attached and his heart is on yaqeen of this deen of Islam. So how do we find yaqeen today? Because we live in, as I said, in a society that many people are putting out their philosophies, their religions of what everyone is saying. So what is the truth? Okay. Muslims today, Muslim youth are going to non-Muslim schools. They're being exposed to, the theology of other religions. They're being exposed to the philosophy and the ideas of other people. They're being exposed to Darwinism. They're being exposed to evolution. They're being exposed to so many things. So how can we show the Muslim youth that what they have, subhanAllah, is the truth? First and foremost, we need to look at it rationally. Okay, I keep using this word rational. Why? Because it is part of the deen, as opposed to when we talk about, people think about logic or philosophy and so on. These are things that people have made. But rationality is something that comes and is part of our deen. So we should always start from the basics. So when we are confronted with conflicting views, with different philosophies, let us look at the basics. This is number one. Step number one. We look at the concept of God. Who is God? Okay, this is a big debate these days. There's people who don't believe in God. I had so many Muslims who came to me, who were born Muslims and are from Arab families, and they are they're raised in Islam. They say, I don't think I believe in God. I don't think this makes sense. I don't think, what I was told in school or when I grew up, it makes sense. It makes more sense to me, social Darwinism or communism or this or that. And subhanAllah, you find that people are lost, they lose themselves. And I have met people who have come to me and said, no, I don't believe anymore, this is not the correct way. Subhanallah. So we look at this very simple concept, specifically when it comes to other religions. Yani, who is God? Is there a God? What are His attributes? What is the truth? Of course, a lot of people might say, well, no, I don't even believe in God, so what is this? How is this relevant to me? I want to ask you a simple question. Okay? Just go outside and look around yourself. Look at the sky. Look at the stars if you can see them. Look at the moon. Look at the perfect system of this universe. Rationally speaking, can it just happen by itself? You'll find that you'll say no. People say, no, it happened. How can something perfect happen by itself, that out of nowhere? How can you have order out of chaos? Impossible. How can people say that, something started from, nothing just by itself? There was nothing to trigger it. People say the Big Bang Theory. People talk about, the theory of singularity. People talk about so many things. But when you look at around you, the creation, nature, you will find, subhanAllah, that these things reflect an intelligent being, someone who understands, someone who put these things in their perfect being, in a system that perfectly works. If our world would be tilted from its axis by 1 degree, we would not exist, subhanAllah. If the concentration, the percentage of oxygen in the atmosphere would be a bit lower or higher, we would not exist. So how can someone say that these things have happened by chance? How can someone say these things happen out of nothing? Without a doubt, there's someone intelligent, someone who understands everything and knows everything, who has put these things in perfect perspective. I know a lot of people have had issues with the watchmaker concept, but it's just a comparison. Okay, because the atheist will come to me and say, well, you know what, I can go and check out the watchmaker. I know there's a factory down the street. I can go and see him. I know how it works, but you can't check God. We're not talking about this is a wrong analogy. We are talking about the concept that when you look at a watch, you will find that there is intelligence that's been put in it, that this watch functions perfectly. No one will ever say that this watch just came by itself. No, impossible. This has nothing to do with checking who's making it. It's just the natural conclusion that when you look at a watch or a computer, so that someone with a plan, with an intelligence has put it together. Such, if you look at the world, subhanAllah, it reflects that there is a creator. No one could ever deny this. By a problem, subhanAllah, sadly, we find that because of our attachment to the material world, we're actually moving farther and farther away from God. The Muslim youth are very busy with computers, with technology and so on, that they don't even have time to look at the sky. They don't even have time to go out in nature and experience, to even know where their food is coming, to pick a tomato or an onion from the ground to see, what does it mean? No, we're just going and just ordering, we eat, and we don't even care where our food is coming from. This is causing estrangement away from understanding that there is a creator. Moving to the next point. Again, we're looking at yaqeen, and why is Islam the truth? Why is it above all the other things? When a person is presented, and today people are presented with Buddhism, Christianity, many different religions, and then you have Islam. As I said, we need to go to the basic. Every one of these religions deals with the concept of God. They have a concept of God. So we start from point number 1. What's the point of going to point number 352 when you didn't deal with point number 1? People start debating issues in their faith about this and about that. Let's go back to the basic. Point number, who is God? What are His attributes? We'll find that philosophies, religions will have a concept of God that is not perfect. You'll find Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, at what they say about the concept of God, and you'll find that this concept of God is a handicapped concept. It's a concept that is lacking, is a concept that is giving you an imperfect God. How can you say, after we have rationally understood by the creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists, that God exists, and He's a perfect creator, how can we say that He lacks? How can we say that He forgets? How can we say that you can kill Him? How can you say that He suffers from this or that? SubhanAllah, impossible. So just from this very simple one, how can you go to the point number 2 when people cannot even pass point number 1? Right? This is the foundation. Islam has the perfect description of who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. And just study, just read through the Quran, subhanallah, the beautiful descriptions of who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without a doubt. So this was the concept of God, of what Allah, His attributes, His perfect attributes. And if we look at the other religions, as we said, everyone falls short. This is the first point. So how can you move further, subhanallah? How can you move further in this? Now, let us take a look at something very important, right? Because when we said, we're analyzing the different religions, analyzing the different understandings, to find the yaqeen of Islam. Islam is perfect. Islam is above all the other faiths as anyone has ever come up, subhanallah. Now, a lot of people might say, though, but still, why should I be committed to this? How can I put my heart to be strong on this deen and find the yaqeen? And what if I will lose something in this life? Now, I want to give you a very, very, very easy thing, subhanAllah. A lot of times, of course, we don't call to philosophy, but I want to give you, because we're faced with this. A lot of times people, Christians or Jews or atheists or from people from different other philosophies will say, man, as a Muslim, you're very strict. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. I mean, you're really wasting your life. You're missing out on things, Come on, look at us. We're having fun, and so on and so on. There's something called Pascal wager, okay? And this is something I think is very, very smart. Why? Because sometimes you'll be faced with this, okay? A lot of people will not understand you, will not take the proofs they're giving them from the Quran or so on. They'll just say, come on, man, speak to me. Pascal's wager is something interesting, right? Because why? It says that, okay, if you talk to an atheist, for example, right? We say, if you are a Muslim, okay, if you are committed to faith, and I'm going to apply the Islamic model, if you're committed to faith, right, and you respect yourself and you follow the true teachings of Islam, okay, you will, if the existence, of course, of God, this is something unquestionable. Okay, we're just speaking here, hypothetically speaking, talking to these people. Because they'll say, hey man, you're wasting. What if there's no God, right? What if there's no God? How come you're wasting your life? What if there's no God? You tell them, listen man, this is one thing I know. No matter what I do, I will have a good life, a moral life. And if I'm right, I will also have paradise. And I know I'm right. But as for you, you are in the loss. Okay, on both sides. Because you will lead an immoral law and you will actually, subhanAllah, at the same time in the akhirah, you will lose. So inshallah, we'll be back after the break discussing about this very important issue, how to find yaqeen in Islam.
Did not have to make it that way, so we need to be ready and prepared.
Only if we knew Allah, we would truly worship Him.
How can you worship someone you don't even know?
We would love Him, fear Him, and have hope in His mercy.
Wallahi, wallahi, wallahi. And I challenge anyone in the earth, anyone in the world, to tell me one time in their life that they took the means and they put their trust in Allah and Allah let them down.
Only if you knew with Majid Mahmood in Ramadan, only on Huda TV.
What we did not have to make it that way, so we need to be ready and prepared.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back. Sunnah Style, we're talking about finding yaqeen. If you're just joining us, we talked a little bit about, going back to the basics when comparing the different ideologies, the different religions, and we find out without a doubt, dear brother, dear sister, youth who've been confused by all these things around philosophies, people debating with you, calling you to their way, that are very attractive and so on, we find that just looking at the basic concept of God, who God is, we'll find that Islam is the only perfect system that offers the perfection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His attributes, His names, His qualities, and everything else falls short, and even subhanAllah goes to such an extent that how can even call this to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is impossible. Type. So I want to move on to something very important, and that is, we look at another concept of another group of people who are talking from a social existentialist background, and they'll say to you, listen man, we are human beings. Why do we even need this concept of God? Why do we even need religion? Why do you have to be a Muslim? We could be good people, we can have a good understanding, and we can come from our own selves, we can come up with laws and things and morality. But see, this is impossible. And we studied in university a person by the name of Sigmund Freud, and I'm sure a lot of people might have heard of it. He's a very famous psychologist, but he had a theory that man's needs and drives are based usually on sex and fulfilling desires, and in the right sense, kind of like an animal. And a lot of times when we've seen that when the concept of laws have been put down in different areas and wars and so on, so we find that sometimes this animal comes out of people, and people start raping, people start, when there's no morality, subhanAllah, there's nothing to stop the person. So how can you say that morality will just come out of ourselves? A lot of times people would say that, look at us, we're having such a good time, and we're experiencing such great laws and such great times. But subhanAllah, we need to understand that a lot of these people they're talking when it comes to time of peace or prosperity. What about in times of that lack this peace and prosperity, right? So, of course, the human being has the capability, and it only goes to show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instilled in them the need for laws. Okay, this is in the fitrah. But the laws need to be divinely revealed. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed laws with prophets. Many prophets have come for many different nations and people because humanity is in need of guidance. In their fitrah, it is embedded that they should be guided, that they should have certain systems and rules and regulations, right? So no one can just say that, we can just take this from humanity. There is a need for the deen. There's the need for religion. There's the need for guidance and divine guidance, not human-made laws. And this is something very, very important. Now, Islam, however, does recognize cultural time changes, and there's aspects of the law that accommodate and examine these new issues. Okay, but this aspect is part of the divine wisdom and revelation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given within the Sharia some leeway that accommodates the new issues, and that the scholars will look at them and examine them and make certain inferences and deduce from these new issues. And this is part of Islam. Whoever says that Islam is from the past, is backwards, they don't know what they're talking about. The beautiful system of Islam has understood, has given this perfect way of dealing with these issues. So no one can ever make this claim, subhanAllah. So the difference here is, brother and sister, you need to understand, the laws that humans make, the morality that humans try to come up from themselves, that we are social humanists, we are coming from we can come up with these things. These are things that change. They change from day to day. They change from year to year. What was accepted 5 years ago is not accepted today. Maybe it's going to be accepted again 5 years after. It's just changing based on desires and their shahawat. Okay, so this is something that we need to understand. Divine laws are perfect. Divine laws do not change. Divine laws accommodate new issues and know how to deal with them, subhanAllah. This is the perfection of Islam. طيب. Now let's look at taking yaqeen, and very important points now. We're coming to probably the most important points of the show. Please be with me. Taking yaqeen from the Quran and the Sunnah. Let's look at the Quran first. The Quran is the perfect word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? It has been preserved in the mushafs. This is we recite it, we read it as the divine word of Allah, that verbatim. Okay? It is the verbatim word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran says, and a beautiful, and I would like you to check these ayats. As I say, I will give you the surah and Surah Nisa, but you need to look at the verses, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Subhanallah. It says that, do they not ponder over the Quran? If it were from other than Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, they would have found in it many contradictions. Subhanallah. It's a big, bold claim that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this is from Allah and this is the proof that there is no contradiction in the Quran. And look at the beautiful, subhanallah, literal miracle of the Quran. اختلافا كثيرا. يعني اختلاف, this word itself in this form, اختلافا, is only found one time in the Quran. So you will not find contradiction in the Quran, but at the same time you will not find اختلافا, the actual word in this form, كثيرا. Okay, like in more than this. Subhanallah. Look, even literally the Quran is miraculous. So Allah is emphasizing this, that you will not find any mistake in the Quran. Why? Because only the creator of the heavens and the earth could give you a perfect word, His word. No one else. The words of human beings, the other messages that have been changed and added, have only obviously contradictions or mistakes that need editing and changes. So, brother, you need to find this strength from the Quran, from the perfection of the Quran. Now, some people might claim that there are contradictions in the Quran. What are you talking about? Let's go on the internet and find this and this. Subhanallah. When we look at this, I'll give you a small example that I was dealing with, not too long ago. Some people have said, in the Quran, it says that Mary is the sister of Harun. It says, Ya ukhta Harun, right? How can, the Quran has made a mistake because, Mary is not the sister of Harun. You know what's fine? What I find strange that, when this is such a kind of a silly, type of attack. Because even the Prophet ﷺ in the hadith actually dealt with this. This was asked to the Prophet ﷺ by a Sahaba 1400 years ago. And people are still trying to claim and to bring these kind of examples. Why? Because they're not sincere to accept the truth. So, let me give you a very, very easy, what does this mean? The Prophet ﷺ said that, no. People used to name or make, basically say that, your sister this or the son, just to show piety or relation. Such as, for example, we are called what? We are called Bani Adam, okay? The sons of Adam. كل بني آدم خطأ وخير الخاطئين التوابون. We know this hadith is we recite it all, every son of Adam sins and the best of sinner is the one who makes tawbah. We are the children of Ibrahim, or we call him our father, okay, Abina Ibrahim, okay. We say he is our father. It's not literal. It's just to show the closeness, the relationship, his piety, subhanallah. We are, as we said, the sons of Adam. And then this is something so normal, yet people find problem with this. But what I find so strange is I said that the Prophet ﷺ himself explained this, but people are still trying to hold on to these strange things to try to find there's no contradiction in the Quran. The Quran is perfect from every sense you can ever imagine, subhanallah. And what really amazes me is that Allah claims that as a proof. Yani if you think you can, how many times it says? If you think, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, if you think that if you're in doubt about what I've revealed to my servant, then you come up with something like this. Bring something like, if you think that this has contradictions or it's the work of a man, طيب, you do it. You do it. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي الرَّيْبِ مِمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِثْلِهِ. Yani if you are in doubt, then you bring it. Use your computers, use your phones, use your qamus, your dictionary, Arabic dictionary if you cannot speak. Bring the Arab non-Muslims to help you. You'll never be able to. This is the reality. Now, people can accept that or people cannot accept it, but that does not change the fact. And the fact is backed by proof. Type. A lot of times when people bring these things up, they do not understand, subhanAllah, the Arabic language. They're trying to, go into the English Quran and so on. And I've had many questions from Muslim youth that dealt with this issue, that they're confused, that their friends are attacking Christian friends or non-Muslim friends who are bringing up all these things, going on the internet and bringing up all these issues, and they don't know what to do. I was doing one of the and I'll give you another example, interesting ayats from the Quran that a lot of people bring up. right? And I've actually written a beautiful paper on this, a research paper for the Mishka University. And you can find it on iqra.org, icraa.org. And this is about the abad of the people, okay, the non-Muslims. And it's a beautiful paper. So I really want you to go and read this paper. But it's about the word that Allah, the ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابين من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Okay, this is in Surah Al-Baqarah. So people say, wait a second. How can you talk about the non-Muslims and the ajr, their benefit is with Allah, and there'll be no fear on them, and they'll not be sad? So are you saying that no, this is wrong understanding, again, based on the Arabic. So I really encourage everyone to go, inshallah, and read the paper where I show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about who are these people, who are these groups. They are actually the believers of their time. They are those who have embraced the faith of Islam and submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's, of course, many points on this, and this is an amazing thing, but without a doubt, this is a big problem. There are many missionaries who are attacking Islam. There are many people who are attacking Islam for many different, but we need to find the yaqeen in this deen, and we find that the perfection of the Quran, the perfection of the Sunnah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guarded it, has guaranteed that it's being guarded. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. That indeed it is Allah who has revealed this dhikr, this reminder, this Quran, this Sunnah, and indeed it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who will guard it. So find your yaqeen, O brother. Find your yaqeen, O sister. This will give you the strength to navigate to this life. This will give you the strength to be the best Muslim, the best human being, the best student, the best worker, the best anything in this life. Find your yaqeen, find your firm faith, and you will only find it in Islam. Inshallah, till the next episode, we will see you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you, to give you that firm yaqeen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The Quran was sent to mankind to guide us all the way to the day where we'll be asked what we did in our life to make it that way. So we need to be ready and prepared.